We are ready whenever you are.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rye Town Council meeting of December 15th, 2022. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, bless this assemblage. Grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and in the best interest for all its residents. Amen.
And everybody, I would like to observe a moment of silence for our late payroll clerk. What's Brenda's name? Brenda Valentine, who passed away last week as a result of a long and prolonged illness. And Brenda was really a terrific person and a valued member of our staff, and performed her job with dedication and with good spirit, and she will be missed. Does anybody else want to say anything? A moment of silence, please.
Because Brenda worked 4 feet from my chair from nearly the moment that I started my job, and was always there when needed and performed her job with integrity. She treated everybody the same, no matter if they were lofty or not, and she was the person you wanted in your corner when the chips were down, and she will be very missed. And her impact on the way this organization runs is indelible.
Thank you. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. I would like, before we start, I would like to wish everybody a happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, or whatever else anybody would celebrate at this time of year. We wish you all the best, health and happiness, and good luck, and much fortune. Thank you. Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffe. Here. Councilperson Jill Axelrod.
Here.
Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Lindsay Jackson.
Here.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Here. We now have a continuation of the public hearing on the 2023 Rye Town budget. Dave, I think I'm going to throw the ball to you. I hope we can all hear you. David is not feeling well, and in consideration has decided to absent himself from infecting everybody else in the town.
We appreciate that very much.
Can't hear you.
He's muted.
Are you on mute?
Yep, still on mute.
Control room.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. That's like the old Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? Right.
Avi is going to come to the podium. We've recruited him to come to the podium, and he has some budget notes to talk about the highlights, and Kathy and I are here as backup, just because my voice is, every time I speak, it's going, so.
So this is, wait a second, this is your maiden voyage into the town of Rye public speaking?
I suppose so. I just learned of this today. So, yeah. Okay, so I'll get started.
Why don't you tell everybody who you are, Avi?
Oh, okay. My name is Avi, and I am the accountant at the town of Rye, and I work with Kathy and Dave, and we've worked to create this proposed budget, and yeah. So I'm gonna get started now. Okay, so the 2023 proposed adopted budget reflects an increase in the property tax levy of $82,506 over the 2022 adopted budget. The 2023 proposed budget reflects a total tax levy of $3,719,971. The town 2023 tax levy is $5,377 under the 2% tax cap. And the fund balance of $180,000 was appropriated in the 2023 proposed budget, which is approximately 5.5% of the unrestricted fund balance. The blended tax rate for the 2023 budget is 0.41597 per 1,000 of assessed valuation. And for 2023, the town tax on a home assessed at $600,000 would be approximately $250 per year. The blended tax rate for the 2022 budget was 0.43897 per $1,000 of assessed valuation. And for 2022, the town tax on a home assessed at $600,000 would have been approximately $260 per year. The total appropriations for the 2023 proposed budget are $7,241,262, which reflects an increase of $299,485 over the 2022 adopted budget. The primary area of changes to appropriations year over year are: one, in the judicial department, appropriations for the contractual expenses was increased $40,000 year over year to support the fully integrated town court. There's an increase of Crawford Mansion operations and appropriations of $140,000, which is partially offset by the projected increase in revenue, which is estimated to be $45,000 year over year. And the net impact to the 2023 budget is unfavorable year over year by $95,000. Salary adjustments for new job titles and pay increases are 3% for the majority of town employees, along with employee benefits, which had an impact of approximately $90,000 year over year. The appropriation for contingency was increased $50,000 for the 2023 budget to $100,000, and this provides additional protection in the budget for extraordinary expenses. The mortgage tax revenue received for 2022, including the first and second half installments, totals $1,145,911, and 2022 budgeted revenue was $875,000. The actual revenue for the 2022 mortgage tax exceeded the budget by approximately $270,911. The town's bond rating from Moody's is AA1 rating and did not change in 2022. This is the highest rating a town our size can obtain, and it is a favorable rating that minimizes our borrowing interest rate. The town's tax receivables are projected to be under 1% of the 2022 total tax levies, and the total tax receivables are projected to be under $1.3 million by December 31st, 2022. And the reduction in tax receivables has had a favorable impact on the unrestricted fund balance. And those are some of the major 2022 highlights and some notes that I have had for the 2023 proposed adopted budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for either Avi or David? No, okay. Debbie, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments.
Is there anybody in the audience who has wants to provide public comment? Seeing that, members of the council, public comment? If not, I'll just make one brief one, and that is that the fact that the actual average tax per homeowner is going down this year, I think is a very, very good sign. The fact that we have receivables, I know for a fact, what Davey's referring to is not only general receivables, but our tax arrears are virtually nothing. We only have one property that is in court with a foreclosure from 2019 taxes going back, which is a substantial improvement year over year. We've been working on that, and as Dave, or I should say Avi mentioned, that results in a greater fund balance for us, which improves our credit rating, and also gives us more money to operate with, because Davey and the accounting team have to put a restriction when there are on the arrears in taxes, which, and if we have fewer arrears, there's less restriction, which means more money for us to operate with. Have I said that correctly, David?
Yes, it's more money the town can actually invest and earn interest on, because we have to make the other municipalities whole, so if the number's lower, we have a bigger reserve, cash reserves.
Yeah, and I just want to point out also that the mortgage tax revenue we receive for 22 exceeds the budget, and we've budgeted the same amount for 2023. What's going to happen with the mortgage tax, I don't know, but we'll find out next year. So those are my comments. And if there are no others, may I have a motion to close the public hearing? All in favor? Let's take a roll call, Hope, please.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. And now a motion to approve the 2023 final Town of Rye budget.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any comment? If not, please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes, thank you, everybody. And thank you, I know that this budget season, as all budget seasons, are somewhat arduous on the members of the council. For members of the public to be aware, the council had several budget workshops. I don't remember the number, was it 4, Debbie, 5?
I believe it was 5.
Five budget sessions that we usually had on a Monday evening, sometimes going later into the night, working out various details. We've had council members question some of the expenditures and some of the revenues and things like that, and we all worked on it amicably to come to the budget that we have, which is, as Avi mentioned, under the tax cap. So with that, thank you again, once everybody. I'd like to skip the Bridge New York temporarily because we have Dan Tartaglia here. We have 3 tax cert resolutions. Is it 3? 1, 2, 3. 3 resolutions. And we'll take them one at a time. The first resolution is Stratmar Equities, 126 North Main Street. Dan, you want to tell us about this?
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor. It's nice to be here this evening. I haven't been here in a while. Got some cases, as you indicated, that we've settled. There's a couple of others that didn't get their consent judgments to me in time. They'll be on next month's agenda, more than likely. Stratmar Equities is in Portchester. In fact, all 3 of these all 3 of these settlements are in Portchester. It's the building on the corner of North Main Street and, help me, Hope, what's the cross street?
126 North Main.
Where Rye House is, the restaurant Rye
Right.
House?
Oh, that's Willett.
Is that Willett? Willett and North Main Street?
Is it on, it's on that side, the Rye House side, or the,
It is Rye House.
oh, it is Rye
And
House,
above
okay.
it, yeah. So they had some pretty tough years, and in fact, I believe they're soon to be on the in-rem list, if they're not already. When the restaurant closed down, they lost quite a bit of revenue. So we've settled this. The village, we spoke to the village about this at our quarterly meeting. We spoke to the school district about it. The refunds are relatively modest. The village refund is about $15,000. The school district refund is $31,000. So they're both aware of it, and this is not going to come to them as any surprise. Does anybody have any questions about it?
No. May I have a motion and a second to approve the settlement?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
You get the next one. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod? Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next one is 317 Post Road Realty. I believe that's the diner, isn't it?
It is the diner. Similar situation. They had a couple of difficult years through COVID lockdown. And so we reduced these to compensate for that lack of revenue. And we also giving them a reduction in the 2022 assessment roll in lieu of refund. And so both of these refunds are similar. This is going to be similar to Stratmar. It's about $15,000 to the school district and $32,000 to the school district, $15,000 to the village. Again, they're aware of this. This was part of our discussion at our last status meeting that we had with them.
Speaking of status meetings, I don't know if we set a date for the next
I don't know, do we, Jeff?
quarter, it's not quarterly, thirdly meeting. Thirdly.
Something, I think April sticks in my head for some reason, I'm not sure.
Every 4 months, so.
Yeah, didn't we meet in November, was that it?
So it would be March sometime.
Then-
All right, may I have a motion and a second?
So moved. I'll second.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes, thank you. And the last one is Longview owners, 315 to 25 and 317 King Street. Dan, this is at the beginning of King Street. Is this part of that new development that they're approving?
No, this is an old co-op.
This is,
They filed perennially, annually, annually.
going north, this is the one on the right?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the two buildings, Longview Terrace.
Yeah. They had a number of years in, you're gonna see the settlements on your resolution for 20 through 22. They had filings in 2017, 18, 19 as well. So what the resolution doesn't reflect is that we got them to withdraw all of those prior years. So the only 2 years we're settling where there's gonna be any refunds is gonna be 20 and 21, which was a good settlement for the town. Because this is a larger property, obviously, the refunds are gonna be a little larger. The school district is looking at a $71,000 refund, and the village about a $35,000 refund. Again, the village and the school district are aware of the settlement.
And there's no refund yet on 22, correct?
Correct. So what we've been trying to do in settling these is to try to push some of the settlement to 2022 where we don't have refunds, so we lower that a little bit. And we're trying to get them to, in some of these older cases, to clear up the older cases, see if they'll withdraw them, and here they withdrew 3 years.
Yeah, very good. Any questions? Doc? Motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Your turn, Pam.
Okay, I will second.
Hope, please call.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Dan, thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you. I wish everybody a happy holiday. Thanks for taking this out of order. I appreciate it. Have a nice evening.
No problem. Back to Resolution 4.1, submission of an application to Bridge New York. Debbie, do you want to tell us what this is about?
Yes.
The resolution is longer than the explanation, I think.
So in brief, the town is responsible for a number of bridges. Some, the town is responsible for 100%, and several we share responsibility either with the village of Mamaroneck and the town of Mamaroneck. Sometimes and, sometimes or. In this case, the Short Street Bridge, which is really a culvert, the Short Street culvert, the responsibility for maintenance is shared by the village of Mamaroneck and the town of Rye. Because it is a culvert, it is not inspected by the New York State Department of Transportation. Therefore, the town and the village engaged HVEA to conduct the inspection. As a result of the inspection, we learned that the condition of the culvert is pretty good, but there are repairs that are needed, and those repairs will cost approximately between I'm not looking at the number, I'm sorry.
Well, it's a 410.
$410,000. We are applying to the Bridge New York grant program for funding for this work. And this resolution is the town's authorization to submit that grant application.
Right.
If we are awarded the grant, it will cover 90% of the cost.
And the remaining 10% will be split between the village and the town.
Yes.
So forget it, that's a good deal. Now, let's go over one thing. Who is HVEA? I know that you know, Debbie, because you've been working with them.
I will be looking up the Hudson Valley Engineering Associates.
And what have they done for us?
As it happens, Hudson Valley Engineering Associates assisted the town of Rye in drafting our Bridge New York application to replace the South Barry Avenue Bridge over Otter Creek, and a grant that was awarded. And we are about to launch the replacement project.
Didn't they do also the hillside?
They also designed the Hillside Avenue Bridge, yes.
So they are very experienced in A, bridges, and B, bridges in the town of Rye. So that's, I think it's an excellent choice. And how much was their engineering fee to do this?
Approximately $4,000.
That's a fairly good sum of money. I think it's very reasonable. Are there any questions? Motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Thank you all. That finishes the resolution portion of our meeting. The reports, I don't see Denise on. I don't know that she has a report. Crawford Park, Vic, do you have anything? I know Camille's not here. Do you have anything for us, or
No, just happy holidays to everyone.
you have something for us? Come on.
As far as Crawford Park, we discussed it at the department head meeting that next month she's gonna give a.
Yeah,
little-
you know,
David Federico, Director of Grounds Facilities. Friday night, we had our rain out date for the Holiday Lights Festival, and in all told, probably about 1,500 people. Went tremendous, and just, people were very, very happy. So if you missed it, don't miss next year's.
were there pictures taken by the newspaper?
That
I see the
yes.
newspaper shaking his head. Hello, Mr. Newspaper. Great.
Okay.
No,
The truck. Yes.
Before we move on to that,
Okay.
I really want to acknowledge the enormous effort and brilliant organization that went into organizing the Holiday Lights event, making sure that it was happy, that it was safe, that it was an enormous gift to the community, and so many people participated in it, and I can't tell you how impressive it was. And to Vic Federico, to Camille Miola, who had the vision that really cultivated this event and pulled it off really seamlessly. And the 32 young people who assisted you in making sure that everything was so well organized.
Yes, thank you.
and,
Appreciate that.
and I would second that. And this year's Holiday Lights was even better than last year's Holiday Lights, which was good and very good. This was excellent. And just to let everybody know, Vic promised that next year's will be even better.
That's right.
So,
I already have a surprise for you, and you're not going to know it until it happens.
oh, okay.
We know that the
All right.
first ones start the day after, and it really was very interesting to sit in on meetings with you and Camille and your team and talk about how to make it, like Gary said, more organized, safer. How do we bring in the, RBPD? How do we bring in local organizations, whether they be school bands or whether they be the local children's museum, and just make it a very inclusive activity that brings families together from all parts. And I did notice that you had marketing up in more places than I've ever seen before.
Yes.
So that was great.
Yes,
I
we're
think it
getting
was,
better.
people think, the public comes to these events and they think it happens. But there's more than just happening. A lot of people do a lot of work to get this done right. And you and Camille and all the staff did a wonderful job. I also want to compliment Mrs. Claus.
Yes, Mrs. Claus is wonderful.
Mrs. Claus.
Always.
Who's sitting to my far left. Hope Vespia, they did a great job. And you look like Mrs. Claus.
And your elves. Don't forget the elves.
And the elves.
Wonderful. Yes, we have an elf here tonight.
Yes. Actually,
You
we
have two
both of
elves
them.
here tonight.
That's right.
The elves in the other room.
Elves, you did a really great job. Thank you, thank you. Okay, and now the electric truck.
The electric truck. Gary and I went down and test drove it down in Scarsdale. We switched to Scarsdale because supposedly Rye Ford is going out of business. It's a beautiful truck. Do we need everything that they have? No. Is it too expensive for us right now? Yes. Gary, you want to comment on what the dealership does?
The dealership, whatever the manufacturer's suggested retail price is, remember how you used to go in and buy a car and they said, this is the MSRP, but we're going to give you money off? They don't do that with this truck. They add $20,000 to the MSRP for the truck. So are we still going to get an electric truck? We are hoping to do that. We are on the list. We are attempting to get, to research all of the grants that are now available to subsidize electric truck purchases. And the model that they showed us was the second to the top.
Right.
And it had a lot of things on it that we simply don't need for a working vehicle.
Right.
And Vic has gone through the specifications and provided a list of the things that we should have and eliminated the things that we don't need. So we will get the best deal that we
I'm
can.
also calling around, being that Scarsdale had 3 of them, there may be more in the area. So I'm calling other dealers to find out if they have any models there.
Yeah.
The model we test drove was for sale. The other 2 models they had were sold.
Yeah, they're going very fast.
Yeah.
But it is, it is a beautiful truck, rides really smoothly, it's got a lot of power and obviously going to be more efficient. And it's, it's gonna be clean, which fits in with our, all electrification, park program. So, it's not crucial that we have the truck tomorrow. We didn't actually, when we were told originally what the waiting list would be, we didn't really expect it until 23 or 24. So we're right on the cusp, but we did take a test drive, which is the first step.
Yes.
All right. Vic, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And again, happy holidays to everybody.
All right, and let me, next month, Camille will give a report detailing the entire usage for the year of Crawford Park, the expenses, the income, et cetera, and we'll have that complete yearly report at our next meeting. Thank you, Hope, for reminding me about that. Financial, David, you already gave the financial report
Yeah, it's submitted, as submitted.
as submitted, and I think as part of your budget report, you can take a look at the in-rem receivable detail. That is actually through the end of last month, and it shows that out of the 3 properties on that list, 2 of them have already paid, and as I said during the budget process, there's only one property left on the in-rem list. Nick?
Yes.
I was looking down at the thing, I was gonna look up and see you there, and you're already standing there. The tax receiver report.
Yes,
Mr.
good evening,
Mecca.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Council, Nicholas Mecca, receiver of taxes. There's a few points I want to bring to mind to our taxpayers and to everyone, really. If your property is in Portchester, your second installment of your village tax is due by December 31st. We will take it up till January 2nd because the 31st is on a holiday. I've also sent out the school second notices because many people like to pay before the 31st of the year so they can declare that at least on state. You can't do it on Fed, but it's still allowed on state income tax. Another point that the post office brings to our attention, pilferage in the boxes, the mailboxes on the streets is on the rise. They advise no checks be put into those boxes because the checks are being stolen, altered, and cashed. We have not experienced any of that as of this date and hope we don't going forward. They suggest that you get it to the post office if you can. I suggest that you use our special box outside of 222 Grace Church Street, which has 24-hour surveillance, so it is safe. I more suggest that you use the online payment. We have e-checks, which is a method of drawing a check from your account into the municipal account that tax that you are paying. That costs you $1.50, no matter what the check amount is. Your stamp costs 60 cents now, and will be 63 cents come January. So for 87.90 cents, you have a secure transaction where your money is put right into the government's account. Also, we have that ability that once you get the bill, you can preset your payment. So we've gone through a lot to make sure that these can be very, very safe process to make your payments, and I think you should look into it. If you have a problem, all instructions are online. Call the office. You will always have someone to speak to. English and Spanish are always available in the tax office. Okay? Any questions for me?
I just want to make one comment. I mean, I agree with everything that you said, but in addition, for people who don't go online and want to, usually mail it, using the drop box outside the town hall is a very good solution. Not only does it prevent, there's no transfer. In other words, if you put a check in a mailbox, somewhere, and then it goes to a sorting center, and then it goes
Who knows?
you know, back to Portchester and for delivery, it takes a while.
Yep.
Just put it in the Dropbox, there's surveillance on it, and the money is picked up at least once a day, maybe more. How often do you pick that box up?
Depends how, trains could be 10 times a day if it's very
Right.
busy.
So it's almost an instantaneous payment to
Yes,
put it in that
absolutely.
box. And it's the safest way to do it. And, you know, and the other ways, of course, are very convenient, are to do it online.
Okay, I take this opportunity to wish everybody a very happy holiday period and a peaceful, blessed New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And the same to you. Hope your report is submitted, and that is the end of the agenda. Jeff, I didn't even see the attorney on here. Oh, there's town attorney. Do you have anything to say?
The stealth town attorney. I was hoping that Vic would offer up Crawford Park honey supply for this year. Are we not competing with Right Town Park?
Not right now.
Oh, that's next year's question. No, happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. And
Say one more thing to Jeff.
Oh, my God.
Are we going to the podium?
No, this is going back in.
The throwdown.
No, I just want to congratulate your daughter.
Oh, thank you.
She got a nice award.
Yeah, she's in the top 10 NCAA student athletes in the country.
She'll be awarded the top 10 award in January in San Antonio. Where we're going down to.
Nice city.
As well you should.
Of her athletic career.
Well, we don't know about that yet. She hasn't finally decided whether she's going to go for the Olympics.
She works so hard, though.
Yeah, she did, and she's a great kid. She's not a kid anymore, but she's a great kid.
She's a great young lady, and one of the reasons that Vic especially loves her, she did work on behalf of the Environmental Sustainability Committee here for years, and she's actually taught members of Vic's team to keep the work that she's done ongoing, keeping us certified as a Tree City USA and even more. So she's moved on, she's graduated, she has her own job, but she hasn't left us. She's just a wonderful asset and has done a lot for the
She
town
is.
too.
Thank you.
She's trying to keep the town of Rye in the forefront of environmental sustainability issues and what she's doing now.
Yep. And we welcome it. Thank you. And again, before we close, comments from the council members and from starting on this side.
First and foremost, I want to express appreciation for the entire town team. It's been a wonderful year working with all of you. It's been inspirational, and I hope you have wonderful holidays, and to the residents as well. Be careful, there's a triple threat virus out there, so everyone just take care of yourselves and your families this holiday season. And thank you. It's been great working with this team.
Thank you, Pam.
Yeah, I also want to wish everyone a healthy and a happy holiday season. Again, it has been wonderful working with everyone in the town of Rye, and on to bigger and better things for next year, and many blessings for us all.
Thank you, Jill. Tommy?
Again, I'd like to wish everybody a great holiday season. Be safe, have a lot of fun, and it's been great working with everybody here. We got a great crew, in the town hall and up here on the podium.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Just want to wish everyone a happy new year and enjoy the holidays. Be safe and be well.
Thank you. Hope?
Well, I wish everybody a blessed holiday, blessed Christmas, and may you be surrounded by loved ones and family, because that's so important to us these days. And I really enjoy working for the town. And I thank everyone for being so kind to me.
Thank you, Hope.
I meant to also mention Crawford Park. Vic, you guys do a great job. The park looks beautiful. I'm sorry I didn't make it Friday night, but it was Mom's 89th birthday. So-
We can understand that. Debbie, you have anything to say?
when I
Any
count
comments?
when I count my blessings, the opportunity to work with this remarkable group of people, to serve the people of the town of Rye, to that gives so much to me. I feel incredibly lucky, and I want to thank the council for the confidence that you have in me and express, and the support that is always, I always feel from this body, and I feel very lucky to work with a team, with the team at Crawford, the team at the Justice Court, the team at in the town offices at 222, and frankly also at Rye Town Park. So I want to wish everyone a healthy and safe, and year filled with good fortune for next year.
Thank you. Before we go, I want to read something that a friend of mine sent to me. I normally don't do this. But this really touched me, and I think it applies especially to this time of year. Steve Jobs died a billionaire at age 56. This is his final essay. I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In some others' eyes, my life is the epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, my wealth is only a fact of life that I'm accustomed to. At this moment, lying on my bed and recalling my life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of my death. You can employ someone to drive the car for you, make money for you, but you cannot have someone bear your sickness for you. Material things lost can be found or replaced, but there is one thing that can never be found when it's lost: life. Whichever stage in life you're in right now, with time you will face the day when the curtain comes down. Treasure love for your family, love for your spouse, love for your friends. Treat yourself well and cherish others. As we grow older and hopefully wiser, we realize that a $300 or a $30 watch both tell the same time. You will realize that your true inner happiness does not come from the material things of this world. Whether you fly first class or economy, if the plane goes down, you go down with it. Therefore, I hope you realize when you have mates, buddies, and old friends, brothers and sisters who you chat with, laugh with, talk with, have sing songs with, talk about north, south, east, west, or heaven and earth, that is true happiness. Don't educate your children to be rich. Educate them to be happy. So when they grow up, they will know the value of things and not the price. Eat your food as your medicine, otherwise you have to eat medicine as your food. There's a big difference between a human being and being human. Only a few really understand it. You are loved when you are born. You will be loved when you die. In between, you have to manage. The 6 best doctors in the world are sunlight, rest, exercise, diet, self-confidence, and friends. Maintain them in all stages and enjoy a healthy life. I thought that was especially appropriate this time of year. And with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Again, happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll see you in January.
Happy holidays, everybody.